Hi, welcome to the Shift Podcast with Wambui, where I talk about whatever I want, and mainly for me to build a community here online to yap about whatever I want. So today I want to talk about the finance bill. The finance bill 2025 was read by John Mbadi, right? That's his name. And the funny thing is, this was his first, what do you call it? This was his first budget reading, but it didn't get so much coverage because, of course, because of justice for Albert Ojwang, which I'll talk about that in another video. But I want to talk about the finance bill 2025 in regards to anybody working in the digital space because it's going to affect us. There's some good things and then there's some bad things. So if you are the type of person who runs anything online, you run a digital marketing agency, you sell your digital product online, or you are a freelancer, you're a crypto trader, let's see what I find out that the finance bill 2025 and how it's going to affect you, because I think it will affect us in one way or another. If you're in this space, if you're in the online space, or you're working online or digitally, that is, it's going to affect you. So, first things first is digital assets have dropped from the digital tax was 3%, but it has dropped to 1.5%, which is a good thing, honestly. So, if, for example, you work on at no, you work through Upwork. You see the way they were charging the 3% digital tax, now it has dropped. So more money for you. Also, if you have a YouTube channel that is bringing in cash for you, it has reduced, so more net income for you, and that's a good thing. And it's a very good way to start off today's discussion. However, some digital platforms are going to be taxed and they're going to be facing a 20% excise duty. So, say for example, you run ads or deliver services online, or say for example, you run meta ads. Tuseme hivyo. So those meta ads are going to be taxed. You're going to have a 20% excess duty. So this means if you run a digital marketing agency, if you're planning maybe your client's budget, lazima you factor in the 20%. Ama, you're the one who's going to incur that, because of course one thing they're going to do, if Facebook for example has to cut the 20% exercise duty, it is going to come for you, the user, your money. That is where it's going to come from. It's never them covering the cost ever. It's always now you. So if you're running, let's say, a digital marketing agency, or you're running ads on TikTok, you're running ads on Facebook, Instagram, and all that, you have to factor in now the excise duty moving forward. And I think the finance will start on 1st July or 1st June. I'm not too sure. I'll write it up when I'm editing. And it also applies to crypto transaction. 1.5 tax now applies on crypto transaction. So if you're paying let's say your virtual assistant in maybe USDT, or getting paid in Bitcoin, there is a new slice that the government now wants from you. So how can we make this better for ourselves? One thing is you can review your client rate. If you're running like a digital marketing agency, you have to do that, because taxes have to be part of your pricing, and a lot of us tend to forget that because we are offering services. And the other thing is, lazima, you get serious with e-teams. Like, that's something that you have to remember, to get like the e-teams into your invoicing tools. You have to do that. The other thing I think now we have to do is, because now the digital game is becoming bigger and bigger, you have to now stop winging it. Because even me, when I started out, I used to not to care so much about taxes and how that is going to affect me. But now we have to stop winging it, because eventually when you make a lot of money, they're going to come for that money. And one thing we know is that ignorance is going to be expensive. So that is so far what I think is going to affect us based on the finance bill that was read. Other than that, nothing much has changed. One thing that I read is that the government is looking for ways to broaden to broaden the ways for them to get taxes. However, I think because of last year's protest, that is, they were very keen not to touch so many places. But in my opinion, I just looked at the part that was going to affect me directly. The other parts affect me, yes, but this part, like, it's very nice for us to be ready for that, so that you cannot feel like you're racking in lesser money than you would have had before. You get what I'm saying? Yes. Anyway, that's it for me. Bye. See you on the next one.